Welcome back to the YouTube world. This is the Questionable Scale Modeling channel. So, here we have the Alpine, Renault, and a Porsche 936 of the 1978 version. So, I bought these two kits as at the same time from one vendor, and they cost me $25 each, which I thought was a pretty good bargain. These are both very old issues. The Porsche is from 1979, according to ScaleMates, and the Alpine is from 1980, which makes both of these over 45 years old. So the Porsche I've already opened and got the parts separated, but I just wanted to show it to you because they are the reason I decided to build both of these simultaneously, because the 1978 Le Mans race, the Porsche was second place, the Alpine was in first, and because of that I decided to do both at the same time, even though I'm actually building the Porsche for the Scale Model Podcast, Scale Model Car Podcast group build. So, we're just going to put this one to the side, since we don't really need it. Now, I do my unboxing a little differently, because, I don't know, I just do. So, if you go to ScaleMates, you can see these the instructions for yourself. I'm not really going to zoom in too much. I will zoom in a little. Give me a second here. There we go. So let me put decals aside for now. So it's an Alpine Renault A442B Turbo from 1978. It is a motorized kit, and obviously we will not be using any of the motorized parts. Again, if you go to ScaleMates, you can look at these yourself, and you won't have to worry about pausing and look at mine, because these instructions are going to probably mostly be off camera, because instead of the traditional unboxing, we're going to separate parts, because that's what I do. So, about the decals. Here are the kit decals, and as you can see, hopefully from the camera, can't really pick it up, but they are very, very yellow, and not surprised considering this decal sheet is from 1980. So that is gone. I bought replacement ones for both this car and the Porsche from Indicals, so they're nice and clean. But more about the decals later, because Indicals, the entire decal sheet is one solid piece of film, so all that's going to have to be cut out and neatly trimmed. And so we'll talk about decals at another time, because right now we really aren't going to mess with them. So here is the tires, just the tires and a bunch of motorized parts that we probably won't need. Here's our body, which is molded in yellow. The detail looks pretty good for its age. Then we have the single plate chassis with minor detail on the bottom, and place for batteries and such inside. So The only thing I will say about the chassis is all these holes that all the battery operated stuff goes into, that will have to be filled. Or if you really don't care what the bottom side looks like, you can probably just ignore them. But I will probably fill them. So now I've got two Tupperware containers right here, and when I separate my parts, and I do, I put them in separate containers according to what kind of parts they are. So this one will be chassis components and interior. Actually, will be chassis components. And then the empty one will have all the body parts, because we're going to focus on the body first. So let's get this open. And I'll try to be quiet with the rustling bags. That can be put off to the side. Again, this has never been opened since 1980, so it's not bad for $25. Okay, there's chrome wheels. Little orientation problems, but then I'm kind of new at this. We may dechrome all that. And then here is chassis parts along with battery components. A little bit of engine detail there. And looks like under chassis parts, seats, and other paraphernalia. And, oh, I lost a part. Lost a headlight. It got away from me. So, clear parts. One windshield and two. So those will actually go into a bag, which I do not have on me at the moment, so we'll set those off camera right there. And then here's some body parts and the driver. So we're going to set all this aside, get our decals out of the way, and we're going to start at step one. And actually, I guess I could do this on camera. So, step one. Oh, this is if you're the type of person that likes to keep your decal or keep your instructions pristine, you're not going to like this, because I mark all over the instructions, because I'm going to throw them in the trash anyway. So this way I know that all the parts are accounted for. So first things first, we need rims, which we have. And for this I'm going to use my Andy's Hobby Headquarters nippers. I'm not worried about anything more than trimming them off the sprue. I leave just a little bit of nub on the part. That'll be trimmed at a later time. But for now, all we're doing is taking all the parts off the sprue. Alright, so this says we need poly caps, but I did not see any poly caps anywhere. So we will have to be on the lookout. If there isn't, oh, there they are. So we're going to open this bag and get them out. Might as well go ahead and take the tires out too. Alright. There's the poly caps. There's some springs in here that look like they might be part of the suspension, but I would find that hard to believe with an old kit like this. Oh, there's actually two sets of poly caps. So we'll get both of those out. Throw it in there. We'll put the tires back in. Alright. So we'll throw that over there. So, we have poly caps. We have tires. And let's see, fixing the motor. We are not doing any of that. So we don't need any of those parts. And we have a battery switch, which is actually a yellow part. We're going to take that out and put it with body parts because it's yellow. Actually, we're going to put it in there. Even though we don't need the switch, we're going to use it to fill a hole. Same thing with this battery terminal connector B1. We're going to find that, and again, we're not going to need it, but we can use it to fill the hole. And there's actually two B1s. So there's that. We'll go ahead and take both of them. Now, so we've got everything in one, and we've got everything in two that we need. Let's see. Oh, 2 continues down here, so we have a C1. Oh, there's the second B1. And then we also have a C1, which is a motor mount. Again, we're going to save it so we can use it to fill the hole. And that's all. Alright. 3. That is all about the mounting of the metal axle for the motor, which I may or may not use. I may use it as an axle, but I've got other stuff I can do. So we're not going to worry about number 3 yet. So 4 is the front axle, and we have B12, which is right here. It was loose. And actually, that should go in like that, I think. Maybe. Nope. I think it goes in. Ooh, wait a minute. That direction. Well, how about that? There we go. It goes in like that. Alright. Well, we're not going to need that right now. So we got that, which we will call that the suspension, I guess. We need a B10 and a B11, which is our spindles. And we're just going to clip them right off into there, so we don't care about them right now. Then we have our steering rod. Hold them straight. That one is over here, which is C6. That can go in there. And then this has one image shows two metal rivets holding the wheels on, but then the next one shows there's a shaft that goes all the way through. So we will explore that later, but for now it won't matter. So moving on to 5, we have the steering wheel, and I think we're going to put all the interior parts on the other container with the body parts. Then we have our, where'd it go? There it is, our steering column, which is kind of basic. Again, if you go to Skillmates, you can follow along with what I'm doing. Let's see. Seats. We have this big piece, which has the passenger seat. Don't know why they had them, but it has a passenger seat. And then the driver's seat. And we're just going to clip it off. And that. And then we got a shifter, which is this one. Again, throw it in there. For this video, we do not care about fitment. We just want to get all the parts out, so we want to know what we're looking for. Anybody that's built enough cars knows what everything looks like. It's not that difficult. So here's our turbo. That can go in. We have a part of the rear suspension right here. Can go in. Right there, C7. And then looks like the back of a differential, C2. Oh, here I am putting stuff in the wrong tub, but that happens. Then we have more rear end pieces. Looks like a starter. And finally, the very back of the car with what looks like a little radiator. Alright, so that's that done. 6 is mounting the driver. And let's see, driver. So we have 2 halves of a head or helmet. So those in there. Obviously 2 arms. And driver. So on the driver, this one and the Porsche, they have the seat belt, the racing harness is molded into the body on the plastic. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I'd like to sand all that detail off and put real seatbelt hardware on this. But that's for another day. So, helmet, arms, torso, and legs. There's decals for the helmet and The end decals does not appear to have any of the decals for the helmet. That's, let me look. Well, yep, I don't see any decals for the helmet. They are definitely, oh wait, no? Well, maybe, so here's the decals for the helmet right here. So, since that's blue, and that part doesn't look that yellowed, and it's going on a white helmet, so we may try to use this, but we won't throw them away yet. Alright, now we have interior parts, which looks like part of the dash and a lot of wiring. So, and looks like roll bar detail. So that'll go in there. Here's the top of the dashboard. That'll go in there. Oh, that was not a... that's not part of the dash. That's a rear bulkhead. Where's the dash? Oh, there it is. That's the dashboard right there. Okay. Done. Then we have this big part, which is actually going to go underneath of the big tail. Like that. So, that'll have to be painted with the body. Then, what else do we have? We have an A5. Which also goes under the car at the front. Like that. Not a very good fitting part. I mean, it fits good, but it just kind of, there's a big gap. But it's underneath the car, so we don't really care. Especially not now. Okay, then, somewhere in here is taillights. But I don't know where they are. Huh. I guess we'll come back to that. A D3. I don't remember a D sprue. There's a B, A, and a C. Oh. Silly me. It was on the chrome tree, of course. So that can go on body parts. Okay. Now, that concludes that page. Next page is more body parts. We have our air intake, which is in two different pieces. So, oh boy, we get to play with filler on that one. And let's see, there's a rear wing, of course. 2 uprights for the wing. And let's see, A. No. Oh, and they even have separate air inlets for the wing uprights. That'll be nice because we won't have to drill those out. Okay, what else? Windshield. And the windshield has a weird scoop right in the middle of the glass. And I'm not sure why that is. But it goes on there. It goes on there like that, sort of. I don't quite get that. Why would you have a hood scoop? Or why would you have a hood scoop on the windshield right in front of the driver? Unless that's for keeping the driver cool. I don't know. But there it is. So, that, and then over here, we have 2 rear view mirrors. And lastly, ooh, see, where's that? Somewhere on here there's an antenna. There we go. Oh, it's right in front of me. Antenna, which we may end up using wire. But that goes in there. Then we have the headlight covers, which we'll go ahead and put it in here so we don't lose them again. And the windshield. And then finally, there is headlights. Those can go in here. Well, that don't make sense. This part shows right here that it goes underneath the body like that. But I'm not really sure why. Well, let's see what the chassis looks like inside. I do not understand what that is for. Because on the box, that is not seen. That has got to be something to do with the motorized part. Like maybe to keep it from bumping. Huh, well, we will put it in there, and if we don't end up using it, that's a lot of material we can use to plug holes with. Ah, it's a course guard. Huh, okay. That is old RC technology right there. And then the rest of this is all about wiring, batteries, stuff that we don't care about. Again, 11 is more battery stuff. There's a couple of extra parts on here for battery setup, and we're going to cut them off and keep them, because we will, like I said, plug holes using the same plastic that the chassis is made of, because that's the best way to do it. So that is what's in the box of the Alpine Renault A442B Turbo from 1978 Le Mans, and it was the winning car. So I'm going to get busy cleaning all these parts off, because there's no need for anybody to watch what I'm doing unless it comes to adding filler, and I may record that. But I'm not going to sit there and make you watch me sand parts. So with that, I'm going to say bye. It's already been 31 minutes, and as always, cheers from Iowa.